It was a stunner yesterday. So stunning that we actually corralled Chris back to his home studio for 30 minutes to try to process minutes after it happened. The shot heard around the NFL world. The decision by Patriots coach Bill Belichick not only to go with Mac Jones as a rookie starting quarterback, the first rounder the Patriots have drafted at quarterback since Drew Bledsoe in 1993. But Cam Newton's also gone from the Patriots. It was one of the more stunning moments of the year. It came on the busiest transactional day of the NFL calendar, while all rosters got from 80 to 53. And we spent a lot of time talking about it yesterday. You can find the clips at PFT, and we're going to talk about it more today because, number one, it's still the biggest story in the NFL. Number two, we've had some time to digest it. We've had some time to think about it. We've had some time to talk to people about it. So that's what we're going to be doing. Good morning, Chris, before I move too far into the show.
Don't worry.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you
Thanks again for the extra half hour yesterday.
That's part of my job, so don't worry. It's all right. You don't have to thank me. I mean, it's...
You don't get paid extra for it, though, nor do I.
Yeah.
But we needed the content. We needed to talk about it. It doesn't happen.
Right.
Doesn't happen often that the bat signal goes out and we come back to the studio, but yesterday was the day that we had to do it. All right, so let's set this up because this all happened in a fairly compressed time frame yesterday morning, not long before the news came that Cam Newton was out in New England. Here's Bill Belichick. When he was asked to summarize in a press conference with media Cam Newton's training camp and preseason in New England. Here's what Belichick said.
Again, last year was totally different, so I feel like everybody's way ahead of where they were last year. Certainly he started at a much higher point than what he did last year. So, yeah, definitely moving in the right direction.
Yeah, moving in the right direction. And the direction was right out the door. And that's what he said. People were giving me a hard time on Twitter because one of the members of the staff, while we were on air yesterday, saw the quote, wrote the story, posted it. Look, we weren't reporting that. He said it. That's Bill Belichick, the guy who decided, who presumably had already decided.
I would think so.
When he uttered the words.
Right.
He didn't walk out of that press room and say, you know what, I'm just going to cut this guy.
Right.
That's not how Bill Belichick rolls.
Nah.
It's amazing to me. And it is a reminder, and we're going to be talking more about this coming up in the program. Coaches don't tell the truth for all sorts of reasons. And there was one coach yesterday who had an accidental moment of candor that's gotten him in hot water. But there is a strategic reason to be untruthful. And Bill Belichick didn't tell any lies there.
No, he didn't lie.
He told,
exactly right.
He's moving in the right direction.
Yep.
Problem is, it's not a direction that we want on our team, Chris.
Right. Exactly right. Yeah, he did not lie. I mean, again, Bill is one of the most well thought out, smart people you'll ever be around. I mean, I never even got to be around him that much, but just the stories from other coaches and everything like that, and just of course working there, being with Josh McDaniels in Denver, the detail, the thought, those type of things is deeper there than any other place in the NFL. I'm shocked. I'm shocked. But I guess the more time has gone by, I guess I'm less shocked a little bit. I mean, as I go through this, just because, hey, Mac Jones was awesome in the preseason. I mean, yes, he outperformed Cam. There's no doubt. I mean, he did. I didn't think Bill Belichick would make him the starter week one. I thought he'd be reluctant to throw a rookie starter out there against the Miami Dolphins and that defensive staff that knows New England and all those type of things, right? I just said it there again. But either way.
Yes, you did.
I did. But either way.
We're going to have a counter. We're going to have a counter
we should
at the
start
bottom of
all
the
those
of the
type
screen.
of things, everybody. We got to get me stop saying that, all right? That's like one of my crutch words.
And it needs to have triple digits.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So, but within all that, the one thing I know I've always told you about New England, and the one thing I learned even with Denver and Josh McDaniels, they're into framing their team around the quarterback. That is for sure. And Cam, what other way is to say this, Mike? I mean, he messed it up. I don't know if he's cut or not on the team if we don't have the misunderstanding of the COVID protocols the last few weeks. So there's that. You and I, everybody who watches football knows that doesn't fly in New England. Accountability, availability, attention to detail, that's what they're all about. You know, that was a little bit of a misunderstanding, or Cam just saying, the hell with it, I'm going to make up my own rules. So that certainly didn't do him any favors. And, you know, they drafted this Mac Jones, and I think he's just blown them away. I think that's the biggest thing, too. And I think they looked at it like, let's move forward with Mac Jones. Cam, we're not sure if we can depend on him. He's not the kind of quarterback you want to be your backup necessarily. He's a guy that needs reps and needs to throw. I don't think he's the kind of guy you want to bring off the bench and you think he's going to be hitting on all cylinders throwing the football. And it just eliminates, it gives Mac the red carpet treatment to where if he does play bad or has a bad quarter, he doesn't have to have guys in the sidelines going, are they going to put Cam in? The fans going, are they going to put Cam in? The media, are they going to put Cam in? So I think the more and more time that's gone by here, I certainly go, you know, it's not as shocking, really, when you think about it and you think about New England's past and history and everything like that.
And a coach explained to me a few years back that there are two ways that a quarterback leads. One, he is a natural, magnetic, walk-through-the-door, Peyton Manning, sheriff type of a leader.
Right.
Two, he needs a little help from his team. And Mac Jones is still in that second category where he needs help from his team. And one of the ways he got help yesterday was his leadership abilities and skills, whatever they may be now, would have been diluted by the ongoing presence of Cam Newton. If Cam Newton is still there, his influence in the locker room, the extent to which the other players like him, that potentially could have created a, wait for it, schism in the locker room. If there was any struggle, as you said, with Mac Jones, hey, why isn't Cam in there? Aren't we trying to win football games this year? What are we trying to do here? Cam Newton would be better against this opponent. We could use a mobile quarterback against this opponent. Why don't we have Cam out there against this opponent? So once you make the decision, and this is where I regret not peeling the onion far enough, but it would have sounded outlandish because
I agree.
They're not paying him very much.
No.
And you got to have somebody as your alternative, viable alternative to a rookie quarterback who's still wet behind the ears. And I know there's a Simmsism that goes with that. And right now they have one quarterback on the roster. Now, Hoyer will be back. This is part of the gamesmanship that Bill Belichick knows how to play because he's got 53 guys on the roster. If you're going to be put on short-term injured reserve, you have to make it to the 53-man roster. So you cut Brian Hoyer and you bring Hoyer back, and Hoyer's not going to go run and sign with someone else. He's a loyal member of the Patriot organization, so you can get away with that. So it will be Hoyer, barring something even more stunning than what happened yesterday. But that's what you need to do in order to support your rookie quarterback. You've got to go all in. You can't go half in with Mac Jones.
No.
And part of it may be just removing the temptation to say, hey, maybe against this opponent, Cam Newton would be better than Mac Jones.
Well,
maybe against that defense, based on what they're doing this year, maybe it would be better to throw him a little curveball and put Cam Newton out there. Now that can't happen.
Yeah, no, you're right. It can happen. And, you know, that leads me to a point that I know we talked about a little bit yesterday. And here's one where I'm like, I'm pissed I didn't maybe think of this more or at least bring up this aspect of the decision between Mac Jones and Cam Newton. You know, I was always of the thought of, well, Cam does some of these, you know, he's a threat in the running game, and he's just going to enhance their unbelievable run-blocking offense and scheme. And I thought that's why I think they'll keep Cam and maybe start him early in the year and just see how that formula goes. But, like, my dad yesterday, he made a good point to me. He goes, hey, you know, we always think about what Cam brings to the table and the plays that he can bring, but let's not forget, Mac's going to have a whole group of plays that Cam's not going to be very good at either. And I think we saw that, even the way they called the game in the preseason. I mean, Mac got to run the Tom Brady offense. Cam Newton didn't. There's a reason for that. It's not like New England's not a put a round peg into a square hole type of team. They went, wait, Mac's really good in this empty shotgun stuff, and he can deliver the ball all the place. You know, Cam is not. We're going to be in more I formation, play action pass, do that type of stuff like that. But you see these highlights right here. I mean, Mac Jones He's wheeling and dealing for the most part. Shotgun, here's empty. Quick as hell decision. Every week he's gotten physically better. He looks quicker in the pocket. His arm has a little more pop. The decision-making's quicker. And back to the framing of the team, one thing, Mike, that I forgot to mention the first time around. This is the first time. In 2008, okay, Brady just gets hurt. The Kansas City Chiefs game. I am still on I'm trying to figure out what the hell's wrong with me. I mean, I've always been trying to figure out what the hell's wrong with me, yes. But now I'm figuring out.
As have I for 4 years.
Yes, right. Where it's a mystery for sure. But no, I'm still recovering from my splenectomy, right? The spleen injury, all those things. Proprioception. So Brady gets hurt. First team that calls me is the New England Patriots. Calling my agent. Tom Condon's my agent at the time.
They really were desperate.
They were
Holy
desperate.
Crap.
Well, when they saw me healthy and I went up there and played in the game, and I think they liked me coming out in the draft. And, of course there's history, and I'm a Simms, and maybe that helped me out a little bit too as far as in their eyes. I went up there to go for a personal workout and my physical, and I thought, man, I think they might sign me here. They never really got that far. I got to New England. I waited in a waiting area forever. I mean, forever. And then all of a sudden they came in and they said, hey, Chris, we're really sorry. We're not going to do this right now. And their reasoning was they didn't want to start, a schism as far as like, there's Matt Castle. Now Chris Simms is hovering over him, and I know I'm not that big, but at that time I at least had a little talent and been in a playoff game and things like that. They didn't want to deal with that, and that was the reason, and I really respected that. I was like, wow, that's really the right thing to do, and that just tells you the way they think, and I think maybe that's why, we're in the situation we're in here right now with Mac Jones as the man.
Pete said something to me that, frankly, I don't recall. Pete asked the question of whether or not they got upset because it leaked that you were there, and we know how they are about that kind of stuff, that they will say, hey, if this gets out any way, shape, or form, we're not going forward. Do you think that had anything to do with it?
I don't think so. I mean, I feel like Coach Belichick or Scott Pioli at the time would have said something like that to me. We did have I certainly didn't leak it. I know that. So, I mean, maybe my agent did. I have no idea. But I really have no idea. I don't think so. Really, I think the reason was that. Why? Wait, we got to go. This kid's pretty good. He's got talent. Let's not, throw him out there, and he throws a few incompletions, and everybody's going, oh, well, we got another guy who's played. Let's get him in the hell out of there, just like we're talking about here. So I don't believe that's the case, but, I don't know. Maybe you never know. It's not like they tell the truth all the time, like you said.
Well, and another issue, and this ventures a little bit too far down the rabbit hole, but there was real tension between Condon and Belichick back in that time.
There was.
Because of the Ben Watson contract. You remember that?
I do. I remember. I remember flying up there, and I can't remember. Somebody told me, and there was like, Belichick and Condon don't really get along. And I was like, oh, okay, I don't know. I don't care. I'm just playing football. I mean, they'll figure that out. That wasn't for me, to worry about. But I believe them at what they said. And then especially seeing in Denver the way Josh McDaniels handled things, and then, of course, being in New England a little bit and how much they believe in that. Like, this is our guy. We're going to frame the team around him. He's our leader, and we're going all in on that. And I think that's where they are right now.
And for those of you wondering what I'm referring to, real quick story, the Patriots back in those days would insist on a 6-year contract for first-round draft picks. Ben Watson was a first-round draft pick. Condon said, I'm not doing a 6-year contract. I'll do 5. I'm not doing 6. And it got to the point where Condon eventually quit the representation of Ben Watson over it because he was not going to put his name on a 5-year contract. So that's where that acrimony came from.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.